Hi everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm Sally and this is my channel Secret Life of a Seamstress, where I love to talk all about sewing and making clothes. I hope you're all well today and you're having a good day. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you what I've been sewing so far this year. So if you've been following me for the last few months, you'll know that I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional about my sewing this year and just think a little bit more carefully about what I'm making and what I'm planning to make, and just making sure that it does fit in well with my current wardrobe and that it's going to work with garments and things that I already own. And I do think that the three things that I've made so far this year are going to fit in quite well. So as always with my makes videos, I'll just share with you a little bit about the sewing process, about the pattern I've used, about the fabric, any problems or things that I came across along the way. But I thought in today's video I would also include a little bit more of how I'm planning to style these makes and how I will actually be wearing them with other things that I already own. So when I asked recently here on YouTube what you'd like to see more of, how I style my makes day to day did come out quite highly. So it's definitely something that I want to be better at and something that I want to include more of in my videos. It's not only fun to do, but it also gives me some inspiration as well, something that I can refer to on those days where I really just don't know what to wear. So if I keep a little record myself of outfits that I do have and makes and things that I can wear together, it will be really inspirational for me too. So with all that said, let's get into the video. So first of all, I will share with you what I'm wearing, which was the first thing that I made this year, which is the olive pinafore by Tilly and the Buttons. So this was a surprising make, even to me actually. It's a pattern that I've had in my stash for a while, but it's not necessarily one that I've considered sewing until now. And I think, again, as I usually am, I was very inspired by things that I'd seen around on the high street and outfits that I'd seen on Pinterest as well. So I think over Christmas time and generally sort of coming into autumn and winter time last year, I saw a lot of pinafore dresses around. And they were being worn really casually with big chunky boots, a nice cozy knit underneath. And I have ventured into pinafore dressmaking in the past, and it's not always gone very well. I think pinafore dresses have generally been the kind of thing that I've seen on other people and I've thought, oh, that looks really nice on them. But then when I've come to try and wear them myself, I've just not really felt very comfortable. But yeah, as I say, I really liked how these new pinafore dresses were styled, and I thought maybe I would have another go at making one myself. So the style that I've seen around on the high street and on Pinterest, and was this sort of 60s style V-necked pinafore dress, and I thought the style lent itself really well to the olive pinafore dress. So if you're not aware, the olive pinafore dress comes from this wonderful book by Tilly and the Buttons called Make It Simple. This is an amazing book, in my humble opinion. It's great for beginners. It includes so many different patterns and so many patterns that are really versatile, really good for hacking and really good for adapting and things like that. I've had this book for absolutely ages and I've sewn quite a few patterns from it. As I say, the olive pinafore hadn't been one that I had considered really up until now. So here's a picture of the olive pinafore as they've styled it in the book. It's a kind of nod to 60s style really, I think, isn't it? A nice button down pinafore dress. Hopefully you can see the line drawings there. If not, I'll try and put them in on the screen as well. But it's a lovely, simple style button down pinafore dress. The original version has a V-neck, buttons all the way down, and then there are just two darts at the back and front, open-ended long darts, just for a little bit of shaping, but otherwise the dress is quite sort of shapeless really. So yeah, a lovely simple sew, and I guess that's why it's good for beginners as well. There are actually a couple of variations to the pattern in the book as well included, so you can actually make the dress round necked if you prefer, and then there are some patch pockets and pocket flaps that you can include too, so you really can make it your own if you want to. So with my version, I kind of ummed and ahed whether or not to make a denim one or a black one. In the end, I decided to go for a black version because I thought black goes with everything really, doesn't it? And I thought it would work really nicely with some other things that I already have in my wardrobe. So the fabric I decided to go for in the end was a Gabardino fabric from Minerva. So Gabardino is a new to me fabric name. I'd not heard of it before, but I guess it's just the kind of fabric that you'd normally used for making trousers and things like that, chinos I guess. It's a twill weave fabric and it's really lovely and soft. When this arrived I was actually expecting it to be a little bit more heavyweight than it is, but actually the softness in it does make it really nice to wear, so I think it works really well for this pattern, and it was really nice to cut and sew and press as well. So in terms of the making process, the dress came together really quickly and easily. It would definitely be one where if you're a little bit more experienced, I think you could sew this in a couple of hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours. For me, I sewed everything up really quickly until I came to the all-in-one facing. So I've done all-in-one facings quite a few times in the past, but for this dress, it's finished slightly differently. And I had a bit of time scratching my head trying to work out how they were explaining how to do the all-in-one facing in the book. Luckily, over on the Tilly and the Buttons website, there is a really helpful YouTube video for doing this. And I think actually I was completely overthinking the process, and it was much easier when I realised from the video what they were trying to explain to do. And once I'd realised, it was really nice and quick to do. And I think, yeah, I was just overthinking it. So once I got it into my head, it was fine. And I think if I hadn't overthought it, if I came to make the dress again, I would make it much quicker. So yeah, on the whole, a really lovely, satisfying, quick sew. The dress in the book is actually finished with poppers to make it a little bit easier. If you do have a popper tool or something, you can actually just finish the dress with poppers rather than making buttonholes and doing all that kind of stuff if you're not someone that likes to do buttonholes. I didn't have any poppers that would be suitable, so I decided to just make some buttonholes, and then I finished the dress with these wooden buttons. I had intended to finish it with black buttons, but when I came to it, I didn't have the right kind of black. And actually, I think these work really well, and I really like how they stand out against the black, so I'm glad that I ended up doing that. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this olive pinafore has turned out. I have worn it already, and you might notice that I'm actually wearing it with a roll neck today. In the past, I've shared with you how I don't always like things coming up high on my neck like this. I think, or I'm hoping, that I might be getting a little bit more used to wearing high neck things. It's another thing where I really like the look of it on other people, but sometimes when I'm wearing things like this, I tend to want to pull it away from my neck all the time. I have worn this dress a couple of times with this roll neck top, and I have felt quite comfortable in it. It's quite nice and soft, this top. It's a ready to wear top. I think I got it from New Look. And yeah, I've been okay in it. So I'm really trying to train myself to get used to wearing higher necked things, because they work really nicely, I think, under dresses and things like this. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'll just pop in a little video now of how I'm planning to style this dress with other makes in my wardrobe, and I hope you enjoy it.
So casually keep diving into concrete, so bittersweet, huh? Keep losing sleep while driving in the backseat. What's left of me?
So let's move on then to the second make of this year, which is this Ilford jacket. So you may have already seen some of this in a previous video. I did share some of the making process with you. I have since finished this jacket completely, and I have added some poppers down the front, which I'm really pleased with. So let's talk about the pattern, and I'll do this very briefly because I feel as though I've talked about the Ilford so much recently. It's almost replacing the Logan jacket and the Sapphire trousers in terms of patterns that I over talk about on this channel. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, the Ilford jacket is a really lovely chore jacket by Friday Pattern Company. It's quite a boxy style utility jacket. There are loads of different options that you can make with the jacket, lots of different pocket options that you can use. You can make it cropped or you can make it long. You can have straight sleeves, or you can include a sleeve placket to make it a little bit more sort of shirt and jacket like. So I've made a twill version of this jacket in a khaki colour, and I loved it so much I knew I wanted to make another version. And again, I think I was completely influenced by things I'd seen on the high street and again on Pinterest. I always love to look at Pinterest. I've said that before. I do like to sort of scroll, and I think, you know, on Pinterest it's one of those things where the more you scroll, the more it shows you things that you generally like to look at. So I do like to have a little browse now and again to see what outfits come up. And I'd seen a few of these sort of checked style jackets around and thought I would like to make my own. And because I love the style of the Ilford so much, I decided to just go with that one. So this Ilford was made from a lovely checked fleece fabric from Minerva. It's a really reasonably priced fleece actually. So with the checked fabric, I did pattern match as far as I could along the sides, and that was fine for me. And I've done the same with the pockets as well. So in terms of sizing, I make the smallest size in the Ilford. It's a unisex pattern, so it does go up to sort of men's sizes as well. So I made the smallest size, and I also made the cropped version, but I did lengthen the cropped length slightly because I wanted this to cover my bottom a little bit more than my previous version did. In terms of working with this fabric, this isn't necessarily the type of fabric that is recommended for the Ilford, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you are a beginner and it's going to be your first jacket to sew. The main sort of difficulties that I came into with working with this fabric was the pressing, because it didn't want to press. I couldn't press it no matter what I did. I tried a pressing cloth, I tried lots of steam, but yeah, it just wasn't really working. So throughout, really, I just had to turn under and finger press and then sort of keep everything in place as I was going with lots of different pins. I was a little bit worried about how the button band was going to work in the thick fabric, and also the collar. The button band, I just worked with it as it was, and actually it wasn't too thick in the end. I've managed to sort of fold that over quite nicely. The collar, just say that it wasn't too thick. I ended up cutting the under collar from a scrap of fabric that I had left over from this olive pinafore, and that worked really well. And I'm glad I did that, because I think the collar does sit a bit more flat than it probably would have if I'd cut it from 2 layers of fleece. And then if you watched my making video, you'll remember that I did have some trouble trying to do the buttonholes on the button placket. I was just going to do buttonholes and finish it with some big chunky buttons like I did with my last one. But for some reason, for whatever reason, I couldn't get my machine to do the buttonholes properly in this fabric. So lots of people recommended, and thank you very much, that I tried the larger sort of poppers, and that's what I did in the end. So I actually just bought these poppers from Hobbycraft. They are millwood ones, I think. They come with a little tool included, and you can just fit them using that tool, so you don't need anything special. I think they were about £10 for a pack, and I had just enough. I think you must get about 10 buttons in the pack. Because I was practicing with these, I've never fit any poppers like this before. I did lose a couple where I'd sort of hammered them and they'd gone a little bit out of shape. So I think you do need a few more than you actually need, if you know what I mean, just in case any go wrong. But actually, overall, these were really nice and easy to fit, and I think they work really well. And I am glad that I went for those in the end. If I put them a bit closer to the camera. So they're just brass poppers. And even though I think I will mainly be wearing this open anyway, I think they just finish the jacket off really nicely, and I think it just makes it look a little bit more professional as well. But yeah, really pleased with this Ilford jacket. It's so cozy to wear, and as I said in my video, I think this is going to be just a really good one for just throwing on for things like dog walking when it gets a little bit warmer, or school runs. It's really nice to wear just over a pair of leggings and a sweatshirt and things like that. And I can even just sort of pop it on when I go out to the shop or go to the gym or anything like that. It's just going to be really useful. So here's a few ways that I'm planning to style this with some other things in my wardrobe.
Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder. You know, sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker, even when I'm down in the low.
Okay, so lastly, and I'm just wondering how I'm going to be able to show these to you properly, I made a pair of wide leg black trousers. So again, something that I have been completely influenced to make from the high street and from Pinterest, and also Instagram as well, because I keep seeing a lot of wide leg trouser outfits around on Instagram. So I mentioned in a recent video how much I'm loving this wide leg trouser trend. I'm finding skinny jeans and things very difficult to wear at the moment, but I also feel as though I'm stuck in the rut of wearing them too, because it's just what I've known for so many years. So I'm really trying to sort of venture into things that I feel more comfortable wearing day to day, but also look a little bit more put together. So wide leg jeans, wide leg trousers and things like that. So yeah, I decided to make myself a pair of black wide leg trousers, which I think will work really well with other things that I have in my wardrobe as well. So for my pair of trousers, I decided to not go for the tailored look that is so popular around on the high street at the moment, because I wanted to see how I would feel wearing them really. I decided to not go straight into all of the work that making a pair of tailored trousers would include. And I went for a wide leg trouser pattern that I've made before and I know I love, and that is the Tyra trousers by Plow & Patterns. So I made a pair of these a couple of years ago now, I think, a more summery pair from a lovely floral viscose. I really love this pattern. They're actually called plazo pants, so they're quite wide leg, but they do actually include 2 slant pockets at the front here. You can make them plazo pant length, or you can make them culotte length as well. The waistband in the pattern is actually sort of fully elasticated, and I made the elasticated version last time. This time I've actually made my trousers with a flat fronted elasticated waistband, and I'll talk a little bit more about how I did that in a minute. So I thought this would be a great pattern to kind of experiment with and see how I got on wearing them. The fabric that I used to make these up was a wool mohair blend suiting fabric, which I actually got from Fabric Godmother. They sent an email out recently, which you may have received as well, just with loads of inspiration for wide leg trousers and some fabrics that you could use. And I brought this fabric directly from that email, so very good marketing there from Fabric Godmother. But yeah, this was exactly what I was looking for really, so I snapped that up, and it was very reasonably priced as well. So it has a little bit of texture, this fabric, but it's very smooth and kind of suit-like as well. Very nice to work with. And yeah, these were a super quick and easy sew as well. I made these on a Saturday afternoon, and I think they took around 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, from cutting to finish. In terms of the length of these trousers, I'm 5'3", and I think the pattern must be drafted for around 5'5", I think. I shortened them a couple of inches. I did want these to be quite long and kind of hang over my shoes, so I did leave a little bit of length. So I've turned them up with quite a big 1.5" hem as well, just so that they hang really nicely. So in terms of the waistband, I really wanted to have a flat fronted waistband. I just find that a little bit more flattering than having a fully elasticated waistband. I think it just sort of reduces the amount of bunching that there is around your waist. So to do that, I just needed to construct the waistband slightly differently to what it tells you to do in the pattern. And I actually used the measurements for the flat fronted piece of the waistband from the Sapphire trousers from the Make It Simple book as well. So when I constructed the waistband, what I needed to do was just sew the bottom half of the waistband on first, and then turn everything under and stitch it again, but just leave this portion of the flat front free. And then you just thread the elastic from one end of the flat front all the way around to the back again, and then you just sew the waistband together. So it's really nice and easy to do. It's not too difficult a change to make, and as I say, I just prefer that style on me. So because these are so hot off the sewing machine, I haven't actually worn these out the house yet. I've been playing around with them at home and trying to style them up with different things. And it's funny because, again, because as I say, I'm so used to sort of wearing skinny jeans and things, I do feel a little bit different wearing these, but I do really like how they look, and I think I'm going to enjoy wearing them. It's funny because my husband said to me as well, and I thought this, they actually look like a pair of trousers that I had, some ready-to-wear trousers that I used to wear all the time when I worked in an office many years ago. A pair of wide leg black trousers and a nice smart jumper was my office uniform, so I feel as though I'm going back down that route again, but in a more casual way. Yeah, I'm really pleased to have added a pair of wide leg trousers to my wardrobe. As I say, these are going to go with everything because they are black, and I think you can dress them up or down really. I'm hoping to wear these with trainers and jumpers and t-shirts and my jackets and things. But I think in the summertime as well, they'll look really nice with a pair of sandals and a nice floaty blouse too. It's funny that all 3 of my makes so far this year have all been black in some way. Black isn't a colour that I normally go for, so it's very interesting that it's come out in all 3 of my makes so far this year. But it is a good wardrobe staple, isn't it? And I think because I'm trying to go down that more sort of capsule wardrobe route, I'm not sure I'd ever fully have a capsule wardrobe, but hopefully you know what I mean. I think, yeah, it just works well with everything, doesn't it? So again, I'll just pop in a few clips of how I'm planning to style these trousers when I do wear them out.
Gravity, I'm swimming in the quicksand, up to my knees. Keep loose and sleep, I'm manic dream at midnight. So hard to please. Drowning in my fears, it's like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder, you know. Sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the low, I remember what you
So I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I've been up to and what I've been sewing so far this year. So thank you so much for watching today. Let me know what you think of all of my makes. I'd love to know in the comments as well what you've been sewing so far this year. Let me know if you've made any of the patterns that I've talked about today as well, and let me know how you found them. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you have enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you gave it a like as well. It just helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and all of that stuff. Take care everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye.